Hey, thanks for joining us on my Magnum Opus Gaming in part 2 of the Weaponettes versus Everton friendly analysis. So if you haven't watched part 1, go watch that now before watching this. But without further ado, let's get underway. As I mentioned in the last video, Koeman basically put all new players in for the second half, so here's the formation. Only players that stayed were Holgate and Galloway. But even though he switched to basically all new players, formation's much the same. With the lineup, there's still the problem of youth and a lot of players that haven't had game time experience because they're recovering from injuries and lack of starters. I just want to emphasize the fact that both the first and second half squad didn't have more than 4 to 5 starters from last season. So it was a lot of new players, a lot of substitutes from last season that were playing in both halves. Now I want to talk about our offensive strategy. So we definitely had a problem in the first half with moving the ball forward and building up attack. Basically, the center back would dribble towards the left back or the right back and then bring the pressure there. Then they'd try to pass out of it into the midfield. And sometimes that worked, sometimes that wouldn't. So they'd basically switch the fields after that and try it again on the other half. So that's basically where the issue arises, and that's also where when we look at the second half, where we didn't have much build-up play because Garbutt and Jones, I think, were weaker defenders than Baines and Davies. Basically, what I like about the offensive strategy was we basically start in the back, either with Gibson or Beshik, or all the way in the back, and we just try to move the ball forward as quickly as possible and try to get a shot off. I believe Koeman's offensive strategy seemed a little bit cleaner in the first half than it did in the second half. I don't know, that was just the fact that we didn't have Baines, Davies, Lennon, Morales on the wings, so we was basically trying to bring up the attack through the midfield, which if you look at what Grant and Cleverly were doing, they were trying to play the ball to De La Feo and then him try to dribble and get a cross off for a shot or something. So it was basically our attack was on the hands in the hands of 3 players. So I feel like that was where the differences between the first half and the second half arose. And then the second half squad did score the goal, but it was from Holgate and Galloway. Galloway with the shot, Holgate with the assist. So I think it was just because the opponent was more tired and they had substitutes in that we were able to get the goal in that half. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's go to player-by-player analysis, starting with Luke Garbutt. Basically, I can bring up Oviedo when I talk about them because they did have some pretty good chemistry. They had a good give and go at the 58th and a half minute. And they were pretty good at marking, but it seems like they aren't good offensively, and their mind doesn't really seem fully engaged in the game, which is kind of a problem. I feel like Oviedo had a little bit stronger performance than Garbutt. They both kind of allowed crosses into the box without significant pressure. And I feel like that was kind of the same with Jones a little bit, but I feel like Jones did a little bit more of a decent job. He had some good passes. He didn't turn the ball over that much. I would like to see him in the midfield position because that's apparently where he originally played as. I don't think there's really any controversy here. Stecklenburg did a good job, just like Robles did. The opponent did have significantly less shots on goal for the second half. If I remember correctly, it was only like 1 or 2 compared to about 3 in the first half. But he did make a few good grabs. Grabbed a cross that was in the air. So he just seems like a solid goalie. De La Feo basically played as good as he normally did. I don't have really any complaints about how he played. Like I said, the offense was basically on his shoulders, and I don't think he really turned the ball away. He generated some really good crosses that we should have got on the ends of, and he basically was the one that was possessing the ball. I've heard from a few people that said they didn't really like what Cleverly did. They didn't like how he performed. I think he played a solid game. He played some really good through balls into Nyasi and De La Feo to create some counterattacks and chances in the final third. And he fought hard to win the ball and move it forward. So I feel like he did a pretty good job. Maybe he could tighten up his defense a little bit. Some people were trying to get around him, I think. But overall, I think he did a good job. I think one of the breakout performances in the second half was from Connor Grant. I think he definitely outplayed Cleverly. He played a lot of really good balls in. He had a nice cross after spinning away from one of his defenders. He had a shot. It was over the crossbar, but he did have a shot. Played well to relieve pressure with a dribble. So a lot of times another player would have just turned the ball over under the pressure that was building up. But he was able to make a few touches and dribble around it. He did that countless times. At the beginning, he played some simple balls and to switch the fields, and then that's when he built up the confidence. So I think Nassi and Henning could definitely take some advice from him and just play simple, and then build up a little bit of confidence. And he definitely made some good tackles in there for the defense as well. Alright, some people might think Hendon did a terrible job. I think in the beginning he was awful. He was getting dispossessed. He was doing misplaced passes. He was offsides. And then as he started building a little bit more confidence, like I said about Grant, he was able to dribble a little bit. He did dribble into pressure and get the ball taken away. But later in the 82nd minute, he was able to dribble away from 2 players. And he did do a lot better passing as time went on. So I feel like it was just a problem with a little bit with a confidence issue. He has to get back to playing because he's been away with injury. So I feel like that was the only problem with him. After this friendly, a lot of people might be calling for Nass to be sold already. But following along the train of thought from Hennon, it was basically a confidence issue. We saw at the beginning he was kind of selfish. He kind of wanted to get a good dribble in, but he needed to start off simple. He did have some lazy tackling. He was offsides during the first touch of the game from him, and he had a good turn, but then he tripped over his own foot. So I feel like it's just a confidence issue. A lot of people were shit-talking him, saying that he needs to be sold. They might be right, but I would like to see him play a little bit more. Definitely get some confidence up, and maybe he'll play like he should be. He's worth $13 or something million, so £1,000,000. So I feel like once we see a little bit more from him, we'll see that improvement. In the 76th minute, Nassi did have a really good shot on goal. He dribbled past 3 people in the box. He was all by himself. He's like, I'm going to take these people on. He shot it, hit the post. It was basically a goal. So I feel like that's symbolic of his performance and his potential. So here's one takeaway we can get from this game, is that we need to sign somebody. I'm pretty sure everyone's already saying that. But I think it needs to be somebody that hasn't dealt with all the bullshit of the last season, hasn't gone through injuries, isn't young and going through the problem of youth. It needs to be somebody that has experienced success at their own club and can bring a little bit of that mentality here, and hopefully bring a little bit of inspiration, bring their own play style, and just bring something new to this club. So basically the summary from this game is that we played well. We've only been playing for 2 weeks now, and we played an experienced team, and we've had young players, we've had people recovering from injuries. We didn't have that many starters in there, so I think we did good. And I think we're just going to build off from this and just lock up our defense, figure out what we need to do on the offensive end, play a little bit more Koeman style ball, because in the second half that kind of broke up. But I feel like that's just going to grow with time. So I'm very excited for the future. So it's something to be positive about, guys. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like. It really helps us out. Check in the video description for the match details, like the attempts on goal, ball possession, stuff like that. Definitely click my channel. Check out my other videos, please. And think about subscribing to this channel. I try to upload videos every 2 to 3 days. So if you want to check out my video as soon as it comes out, definitely hit that subscribe button. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching.